Hello, everybody, and welcome back to ESL's King of the Hill. My name is TJ. I am joined by That's Admirable. Once again, we're about to jump into our second and final match of the day. This match will decide the king. It's Thijs versus Ostkaka.
Yeah, I mean, what a matchup between these two. The history that's going on here, just the overall amount of total tournament domination that we've seen from these two guys. Ostkaka's had a lot of tournaments where he's either just completely washed out of them or he just outright won them.
Yeah.
It's really interesting to see. Like, sometimes he either just nails it or doesn't really do much of anything. Thijs has kind of been the opposite. He has a good number of wins, but really it's just a lot of consistent finishes.
Yeah, definitely. And, I mean, it's going to be a good matchup. Their deck lineups are, pretty standard. It seems like Ostkaka just brought Rogue, said he could ban it. Like, I know you just sort of bring 4 decks, and the 5th one you only play it if you absolutely have that feeling that you want to play it. But if you guys want a chance to participate in King of the Hill as well, you can actually play in the Opens. Killing All Day, who we just saw, he actually won through the Open, so he got a chance to compete in this week's King of the Hill. You can head over to esl.gg/KOTHHS. Stands for King of the Hill Hearthstone, and sign up. There'll be an Open every single week, and that Open leads into the following week's King of the Hill. So it's a pretty cool tournament. You have a chance to get your name out there, play on stream, have a chance to win $500, and be invited back the next week.
Yeah, that's the real big key to this one, is racking up the win after win.
Yeah.
Each one of those is worth $500.
Yeah.
So the Open Series worth quite a bit. And, that's something that I get asked so often is, where do I get started in tournaments? Well, the answer is Open tournaments that lead into more featured stuff like this one.
Yeah.
Signing up in this one is great, and it's a great player experience, too. It's a Swiss format in this one. So,
bracket,
if you get an early loss, it doesn't just knock you out. It doesn't ruin your chance. You just got to fight back through it. It's Swiss tournaments are what I cut my teeth on cards growing up. It was beautiful, and I love to see it.
Yeah. And it's really fun too, the Swiss at least, because you get to, one, you don't know who you're gonna play against, and you can keep playing.
Yeah.
Even after you're sort of mathematically eliminated.
Yeah.
You can keep playing. So even if you want that tournament experience, it's not 2 and you're out. It's 1, 2. Well, now I'm probably out, but I can play the 3rd match. I can play the 4th match. Hell, I can even play the 5th match.
If you wanted to set aside the day just to play Tournament Hearthstone, Swiss will let you do that regardless of your record.
Yep. All right, well, let's go into game number 1, Thijs versus Ostkaka. It's Thijs going with the Zoo Warlock, and Ostkaka going with this really interesting build of Cthulhu Warrior, which we saw in match number 1.
Yeah.
It's more of a tempo. Basically, it has card draw, Cthulhu, and removal. That's it.
Loot Hoarders, Battle Rages, Acolytes of Pain. We saw Commanding Shot in there, which I'm guessing also indicates Wild Pyromancer.
Yeah.
It looked just like Power Cycle into Cthulhu stuff.
Yeah.
So talking about the lineups a little bit more in depth, Ostkaka obviously has got Warrior, Zoo Warlock, Aggro Shaman, and Yogg Token Druid. Has banned away his Rogue. We haven't seen it yet. Thijs brought Zoo Warlock, obviously, Warrior, Shaman, Hunter, and Druid, and banned out his own Druid.
Really weird. I would think he'd want to ban out his Hunter, but maybe after seeing the first matchup, he realized that maybe his Hunter's going to do some work, against the slower Warrior, against the Druid.
He also saw how badly Druid performed for Killing All Day in the first series.
Yeah. So maybe he got scared.
Thijs' lineup looks strong against it. Now, this opening hand, pretty poor for Ostkaka, I'd say.
Yeah. He's got Cthulhu activators here, or Cthulhu activator with Disciple of Cthulhu, but nothing else to get to an Amps online, and no Fiery War Axe, no turn 2 play. Nothing really to get the ball rolling for him against this deck. And we kind of made the guess that Ostkaka's deck doesn't have Brawl. It's got probably Wild Pyromancer Commanding Shout. More early game tools, but less of that sort of mid-game removal.
Yeah, so it's going to be the, as they say in Korea, the bot lane duo here, the attack and the support.
Mm-hmm.
And Ostkaka, that's honestly a pretty good pickup. I mean, anything to get the ball rolling is super important. But not only this, he's activating the Twin Emperor on turn 3, so he doesn't have to worry about that. His turn 4 through 6 can be focused purely on creating the best board state possible.
Yeah.
A lot of times the Cthulhu builds have to squeeze in another Cthulhu card, on those turns. A lot of times the first one is Disciple of Cthulhu. The Beckoner of Evil is a very critical card in matchups like this one.
And a key pickup in this matchup, if only because it sort of acts as a halfway for Fire War Axe. if you don't have Fire Wax, you know, second best thing is going to be a Becker being able to try and challenge the board.
Wow. That's surprising.
Really hedging his bets against Disciple of Cthulhu.
Well, I'm thinking Ravaging Ghoul is just going to be good enough.
Yeah. Disciple of Cthulhu doesn't have good targets. It also gets traded into very easily.
Yeah. What I'm looking at this turn is if he drops the Ravaging Ghoul, on turn 4 he can Disciple of Cthulhu down the Voidwalker and attack the Ravaging Ghoul as he sees fit. So in the face of like Knife Juggler or Dark Peddler, you can dictate that attack. And you also get rid of the front half of Possessed Villager here. You have to make headway at some point. This could also unlock a Battle Rage for 2. Like say he drew Wild Pyromancer here, he could just attack into the Voidwalker and Battle Rage.
Yeah.
With the Wild Pyromancer, clear up the rest of the 1 health stuff. A lot of things are going on that just spell out Ravaging Ghoul here, even though it's not so great of a turn.
Yeah.
Which when he sees that Darkshire Councilman, it's almost certainly going to be Disciple of Cthulhu. Whoa. That was not expected.
Admiral, I don't even know what this deck is. It's got Commanding Shout, Battle Rage, Loot Hoarder,
and Doomcaller. Can't argue with Mastery.
I don't even know.
Honestly, Battle Rage still might be better here. Looking at the board state, like if he plays Disciple of Cthulhu, just not really much is getting done with it. The Battle Rage, it's not often going to get more than 2 cards this matchup, I'd say. Oh, great pickup.
Oh, baby.
And that's one of the reasons you Battle Rage.
Yeah. So he equips it right away. Most likely just going to see an attack into the Darkshire Councilman.
Well, I think the attack on the 1/1 has a lot of merit here. It prevents Dark Iron Dwarf, Abusive Sergeant, and Defender Vargas from being relevant.
Yeah, that's very true.
Or as relevant, rather.
Attack onto the Darkshire Councilman would make it so that Disciple of Cthulhu kills the next turn if there was no Defender Vargas, but Defender Vargas is a very real threat considering Thijs missed a good play on turn 2.
Yeah. I mean,
smart play.
It's really smart. And we've seen Ostkaka kind of do that time and again. He recognizes these situations where I'm not going to get a good enough turn if I don't hedge my bet. And sometimes even taking more of a risk and just opening himself up. He's just been cool, calm, and calculated at every step of the way.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun to watch. I think, once again, even though Possessed Villager is probably a little bit stronger of a card in this situation, I think the Direwolf Alpha is better.
Yeah. Either one allows you to trade into the Ravaging Ghoul. It's just what do you want on your board once that happens. And either way, the Darkshire Councilman is most likely going to eat an end to the Fire War Axe. So.
Yeah, I'm curious if trading is actually even on the menu here for Thijs. I mean, it could very well be attack phase. If you're going to play the Possessed Villager, it's definitely trade. That feels like a really good pickup.
I think you just Acolyte of Pain, armor up, or hit in. Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think at this point, what he's favoring is the Fiery War Axe and the ability to, like, say, clear another Darkshire Councilman.
Yeah.
Or just be able to effectively push through a Defender of Vargas.
Yeah.
Oh, they have traveling packs.
Pretty brutal.
Honestly, it's not like the worst draw, because this way he at least has a 50% chance to keep a Doomguard in his hand.
Yeah.
So 50% of the time, he knows he has a second Doomguard. And, well, there it goes. There goes 9 points of burst also. So Ostkaka seeing both of those gone also, I think opens him up really well. Wow. And he picks up Slam. So the Doomguard, trade it off, put him at 18, drop Twin Emperor into Doomcaller, just a 7/8 at this point, and then have Cthulhu.
I still be pretty healthy.
Yeah,
I mean, he's at 18, which might be a little risky, but now he knows there's no power bombing. There's no second Doomguard.
Yeah.
He can count the amount of damage that Thijs can do from hand.
18 is very comfortable here with the Twin Emperor.
Yeah.
I think Ostkaka might have just won this game.
As long as he gets to turn 10 with Cthulhu, I mean, that's just lights out.
Yeah, I think the Slam draw won him the game. I mean, granted, it could have been Execute, it could have been, you know, maybe like a Bash or Shield Slam or something.
Yeah.
Bran.
Could have been Commanding Shout.
Bran would have been really good.
Oh, Bran would have been fantastic, yeah.
Oh, Bran would have been sick, actually.
Because then it survives. You Twin Eps next turn to get 3 4/6s. All right, well, I mean, Thijs is, I don't even know. You just throw down the puppies and
hope
you can get there.
Now, we'll hope it's going to be a lot more than what he needs.
The Feast of Souls begins now.
Yeah. All right. Well, what does Thijs need off the top is going to help him come back into this one?
Black Knight. So it's like my answer to this card. It's
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if that's enough.
Can't even get through
5,
one
yeah.
effectively. He can
Jeez.
trade in his whole board to get through one.
Can't cast that. Yeah, I think it's over. Just has no effective way to really do this. Blood to Icar's going to punish this as well.
Fight, maggot!
Jeez.
Hello.
I mean, it's just an embarrassment of riches at this point.
Yeah.
It's just like, how on earth does Ostkaka lose?
This deck is just so weird, but so good. I mean, you have consistent early game because you have so many early game drops with double Bloodtaker, double Loot Hoarder, Battle Rage to draw you cards, Ravaging Ghoul.
I think we're just seeing the
Plus
next
the Cthulhu
evolution,
buffers.
honestly. Like, Ostkaka is just... I really want to know where this originated from. Because nothing about this deck so far has looked weak. Everything has looked incredibly strong.
Yeah. And probably Thijs is not a player to concede unless he knows that he's like absolutely dead. But this looks like a position where you ain't coming back. Your Doom Guards are gone.
So many
Everything's gone.
possibilities.
I mean, even if Giant hit the board this turn, Ostkaka just takes care of it.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I don't need this. I don't need these guys.
Yeah.
Just ignore it even.
So we go and tap. There's a Forbidden Ritual, so maybe a start.
Well, it can't quite cast Sea Giant this turn. Oh, that is no, still not a way to do it. It's 1 mana. I was like, oh, wait a minute. I was like, oh, wait, give you Search Dice. Now, Ostkaka's going to take the time to think, how do I lose? Well, you
He's going to come to the conclusion, I don't.
Well, I think he's just going to push, too.
Yeah. That's 12
Could
damage.
it, like a double Sea Giant Defender of Argus turn wreck you? That could be a reason to trade. Ah, I think that's what he just thought about. Oh, gosh, it hurts. It just goes face the two. Yeah, why not? Why
All right.
not, indeed?
Well, Sea Giant's coming down. That's for sure. Crazed Out does effectively nothing. He can switch one of these Acolytes of Pain to only get 1 draw. So there is stuff that he can do this turn that will help him out. Second Defender of Argus can't be played, so...
We're on pure hope. Takes a peek at the Cthulhu. Ooh, 12.
Ooh, 12 damage. Ooh. And it summons a 12/12. Wow.
Beautiful.
Glad I put this card in my deck.
This Cthulhu deck could be a lot worse without this one.
Yeah, you're telling me I've been buffing this card the whole game?
Perfect draw.
All right, well, he can Power Overwhelming and kill off this 6/6. So, I mean, that's about as good of a turn as it gets right there.
All right. I mean, not a pretty darn good turn. Well, there's actually options now.
I mean, he can just kill him with Cthulhu.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I forgot about the fact that he can
5
just...
out of the 12 shots can go phase. It's actually
yeah,
very
all the
unlikely.
burst damage is gone. Yeah,
Well, I
there's
don't
no
know.
play of a Cthulhu here. No, all of Thijs' burst damage is gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, no tap. 9 plus 10 plus... I mean, what's the biggest damage card he could even draw for 6 mana? Leroy?
Yeah, but he just has to in-game boss and Defender of Argus here.
My shield for Argus.
I'm still in the hope plan. This should shut this turn down. I'm guessing we're going to see a Commanding Shout Wild Pyromancer turn.
Do you like to play with fire?
There it is.
Gosh. definitely a way to do this, I think. It's 1 more damage. It's 2 more damage. Yep, and the Acolyte of Pain pushes through. Yeah, I found a different use for the Commanding Shout engine. That's one I haven't seen used before. Really, really good idea.
Yeah.
Whoever came up with this build. I mean, Ostkaka is the first person I've seen play this build. I'm guessing it's him, but
I mean, it's just like it's
fantastic.
OTK. He even has Emperor, so we confirm the Wild Pyromancers. We confirm the Emperor Thorsan. It's just a combo.
That deck looks good, TJ.
Ostkaka saw the OTK draw engine and the removal engine, and he's like, "That's so good, but why would I rely on an OTK to win? Why don't I just put that engine into a more consistent deck that has an inevitable win condition, that has more flexibility?"
That is good.
Wow.
I mean, that's one of the best decks I've seen in a long time. And again, I think that's like sort of the last wave we were at, was like unlocking more potential, which of course Warrior is one of the builds you see it in. But Druid is kind of the last class I feel like that hasn't been really explored too much. Like maybe some Warlock builds as well.
Yeah.
But Druid I feel like is in a spot where Yogg is just so powerful that people I feel like haven't been finding new strategies because Yogg's so powerful. But that one just looks beautiful.
All right,
that was so one-sided.
Competitive Warrior decks that have existed in the last 8 months. Or the last 3 months.
Yeah.
OTK, Worgen. This Cthulhu build. Classic Control. Cthulhu Control. Tempo. Dragon. Pirate. Am I missing any?
Patron.
Patron.
We have 8. 8 Warrior builds.
8. And I feel like I'm missing one.
I always feel like I'm missing one when I name all the Warrior decks.
Maybe not. But that's a lot right there. That's 8 competitive Warrior decks. 7 of them are right now, exist right now, that are competitive right now. One of them, Pirate, arguably, you know, it was competitive for a while, especially on ladder. It was feared, so that's absurd. That is, you know, Warrior's in the best spot that it's been in a long, long time.
Make Warrior great again.
I must protect.
Make Warrior
I
bad
like Warrior,
again. That would be my slogan. Jeez.
Is Warrior ever bad?
It was.
When?
I remember it was. Sometime. Don't quote me on that, and don't make me tell you exact dates. There was like a week where it was like really bad.
Yeah, we just kept trying to play Control.
Yeah.
Doesn't work.
All right, well, jumping into game number 2 here. Thijs going to throw out the Warlock again, and Ostkaka is going to go with the Druid.
So Cenarius was also in this build.
Yeah.
From Ostkaka. So Cenarius and Onyxia in the build. That's a heavy top end.
It's greedy, but we've seen that choice from a lot of players recently to go with both those 9-drops. We saw it in King of the Hill last week. I know there was a lot of players that were experimenting with it in like the DreamHack and Seatsuri Cup, a couple tournaments that we saw before that. So
yeah.
Imagine we're going to be seeing a lot of it in prelims this week too, because EU prelims, which is, I mean, it starts in what, 4 days?
Well, not only that, have decks been submitted for EU prelims?
They're submitted. Yeah, they were submitted today. So
I bet Ostkaka submit that list.
Maybe. Yeah.
And that list looked really strong.
So prelim decks will be public. So there have been some players that are already discussing their prelim decks.
Yeah. Oh, I love that, by the way. That was such a wonderful experience. Like, a lot of people were afraid that having the deck list be public was going to kind of make it worse. But honestly, having the information and feeling how my opponent was crafting their play based around that and the way that I was doing the same was really interesting. And at spring prelims, I brought kind of a wonky lineup.
Yeah. Aggro.
Yeah.
Beast, Aggro Druid.
It was Beast Druid. It was Pirate Warrior. The Pirate Warrior only lost a single game.
Nerubian Prophet, Shaman. Did you bring the Nerubian Prophet Shaman too?
And that list was actually really interesting too, because so many people thought it was meant to just get off the ground running as quickly as possible. But most of the time what I ended up doing is just waiting and waiting and waiting.
A free 4/4.
And and against one player what I ended up doing is, it was against a Warrior. He ended up getting an Armor Smith and something else out, and I didn't play anything. I just totemed. And then on turn 4 I just played Master Revolution, and it was challenging his board. So he ends up just attacking me with a Kor'kron Elite, and then on that turn, going into turn 5, it was Tunnel Trog, Lightning Bolt to Kor'kron Elite, Feral Spirit to isolate the board, attack the Armor Smith, go. And he was in the venue with me. He looks up from his computer. He goes, "How do I beat that?"
He just overloaded. Like, he starts sparking. Self-destructs.
Yeah, and that particular series was like the Shaman. It was really weird because that was actually the slowest deck in the lineup.
Yeah. All right, well, Panther. So, Panther being summoned.
Kind of a traditional start here from both players. Thijs opening up with a single 1-drop, and would have liked to have that one last turn, I imagine. And Ostkaka just using anything he can with his Druid build to try to fight off the board. And this is one of the reasons why I feel like all the top-end heaviness can be a detriment to this Druid build when we're talking about this matchup in particular. A lot of times Druid can stabilize versus Zoo. But when you have Cenarius, Onyxia, Yogg-Saron, Ancient of Wars, plural, a Mulch, Emperor Thorson, like Wisps of the Old Gods potentially, like where does all this stuff fit and what are you sacrificing for it?
Yeah. Well, going with a little bit more of an aggressive line here for Thijs. Now he's making the decision, do I trade or do I go face? And trading's just so much better here. If your Direwolf Alpha gets killed off, you give your opponent a free trade, and then they're 2-for-1ing with your Flame Imp. So.
Well, the bigger one for me is that we've seen Thijs in this situation last game. He chose to play it more conservatively. So I would kind of expect him to follow through with that until desperation arises.
Yeah. Well, Ostkaka's hand really needs some ramp going if he's going to want to catch up in this game. He's going to have to power the wild again.
His turn 5 is the one I'm fearing for right now because this turn isn't necessarily weak until he sees the Darkshire Councilman. And then after that, it's kind of going downhill. I mean, his turn 6 is Emperor Thorson.
Yeah.
It's just not strong enough. I mean, I think Ostkaka might have to quite literally draw Innervate if he's going to win this game.
Yeah, next turn. Or the next 2 turns.
Yep. Honestly, it might even need to be. The Councilman's not getting checked, and that's really the big problem here. Thijs is more pained by whether or not he trades the Direwolf Alpha or the Flame Imp. That's the reaction you're seeing from Thijs here. It's not really the Councilman. And so he's thinking about like if he plays Fandral, if he plays Violet Teacher. What do these all mean for my Darkshire Councilman afterwards? Do I need this Direwolf Alpha on board to efficiently kill this stuff?
What does it mean? That's what Thijs is thinking right now.
Direwolf Alpha, what does it mean? It's almost like a triple Direwolf Alpha. Yep. You know, very curious trade. I'm actually interested in that because Direwolf Alpha represents a lot of potential.
Yeah.
I imagine this is his concern is he expects his board to get isolated.
Yeah. What an awkward turn.
Well, bad is more the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Weak. What? Game losing. Those are all words that come to mind.
Cringe.
I love how the only emotion we've seen from Ostkaka so far is when the Yogg-Saron came down.
A slight smile. That's it.
Well, it was a pretty. I mean, it was taken aback.
Did Ostkaka have fun? Did that happen? He didn't even have fun when they presented him the trophy at the end of the World Championship at BlizzCon. They're like, here's your trophy. He's like, eh.
I want like Tom Hanks yelling at him, there's no fun in Hearthstone. That's all this game's about is fun, Tom Hanks. You're crazy. What? Go make Da Vinci Code 2. Well, that's not the turn that anyone ever wants to do. Swipe your Flame Imp, leave your Councilman at 4 health.
And Thijs is like, what
He's
just
confused.
happened?
Yeah. I imagine this is the turn where Thijs is like going to stop trying to piece together puzzles and go, I guess his hand's just awful.
Yeah.
The Flame Imp's looking pretty good. I like Flame Imp into Ardent Squire a lot more than Direwolf Alpha.
Yeah. Maybe some merit to corruption. If your opponent plays something big, like Innervates out Ancient of War.
So if he plays
if you make that read.
So he plays Flame Ardent Squire, he's got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, he's only got 9 to chew through it with this way, so he doesn't need another point of damage. Or he could just play the Doom Guard. Yeah, either way, Thijs is in fantastic shape, even if it's Innervate Ancient of War here, which, miracle, but it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
The Doom Guard's going to be too big of a swing.
I mean, maybe you don't even Doom Guard.
Let's not get crazy.
Okay, well, Direwolf Alpha lets you just trade in everything but the Councilman.
No, it's only 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Direwolf Alpha plus Possessed Villager lets you just trade in.
So many possibilities.
It's Doom Guard. Whoa! Whoa! Plot twist. I'm actually shocked by that because if Thijs goes for the Doom Guard here, he gets to trade Doom Guard and Flame Imp, Dark Peddler, leaves back a 5/2 Doom Guard, 5/4 Councilman and the Argent Squire with the shield. And he pushes 6 damage this way.
But this way, he just trades in Flame Up plus Darkshire Councilman. Still pushes 4
The
damage.
Councilman is like a priority kill right now. Like if Ostkaka doesn't kill the Councilman, he just loses.
Get it out! Get it out!
Yeah, but maybe he wants that Doomguard, you know?
Oh, he could have both. Just saying.
Yeah. A little bit weird. But I imagine it's going to work out for him.
I imagine Thijs is going to ignore this Emperor Thorson. I don't know, though. I mean, we've seen him. The Abusive Sergeant probably changes that.
Sergeant, yeah.
Which I still don't know. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I mean, he could push 15 damage this turn. I'm putting him at 3, personally.
16 damage, even.
Is it 16?
I think he can put the Doomguard next to the Dire Wolf Alpha, yeah.
Yeah, I put him at 2.
Thijs is a traitor, though.
Well, maybe not this time.
Get in there and fight, maggot!
Oh, he's going to trade.
He's a traitor.
Dare summon me!
All right, well, Ostkaka is... Ooh, okay. Well, he can Ancient of War, Raven Idol, and Living Roots.
What would he even Raven Idol into? Like, it might honestly be better to... Well, he's got to cast Cistern because he's rolling to scenarios, but...
Yeah. He's got a plan
like
on...
Maybe Innervate just to... Or Moonfire. Honestly, this wouldn't be that bad right now. Well, unfortunately, we can't see.
Bummer.
Honestly, I think Moonfire or Innervate. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
Well, I mean, it's possible he comes back. It's going to be really hard. He needs Thijs to draw dead for quite a few turns, which is tough to do with life tap, but that is... You know, he's got both power overwhelmings left. This is going to be really hard.
Yeah, what card was that? Sea Giant off the top.
Yeah, I'm playing Sea Giant.
Yeah. And then in that case, do scenarios for the buff, so you can cleanly take out the Doomguard.
Might, honestly.
It's so crazy. So he's going to Sea Giant and then just pass. I mean, he might trade in the...
I could see him trading in the Possessed Villager.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Possessed Villager, it makes sense to trade the Possessed Villager. So that way you can use the Ardent Squire Sea Giant, clear this off next turn. And honestly, it doesn't make too little sense to attack with a Doomguard either. Just leave it as a 5/2. I mean, his win condition at this point has become Sea Giant.
Yeah. Well, he's going to think about it for a bit.
Yeah, this is interesting. You need a lot of time to figure out this perfectly, honestly, because he's got to think about all the draws left in his build, too.
I kind of just like pass. Because you have both power overwhelmings.
Well, interesting turn at number 2. That Wild Growth is bad.
Yeah.
That's literally the worst draw on the deck right now.
Turn 8 is the worst. All right, gets the taunts.
Whoa. Wait, he's playing for the Savage Roar draw. Oh, my.
It's not lethal.
It's not, but it's still pretty good. Honestly,
Ostkaka doesn't even have a Yogg out here.
Thijs does need to think about the damage potential from Ostkaka, who just laughs. He's having fun.
Is that fun?
Not as much as Thijs, I'd say. Well, I don't know. You look at Thijs, maybe he's not having fun.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of fun.
Yeah.
So
Well,
is it Doomguards into the Ancient of War, leave that behind, or is it Sea Giant and the little guys into Ancient of War? I think the healthier Doomguards makes more sense.
I think you want to keep those Doomguards healthy.
Honestly, is there merit to Forbidden Ritual here?
No. How does he deal with that board? He's at 6 and has 1 card.
So if he has Wrath, Swipe, and something, that'd be about the only way to do it. Which in that case, you would leave behind the Forbidden. You would keep the Forbidden
Yeah,
Ritual.
but he would have to have Wrath, Swipe, and something.
Right. Like I'm talking about from Thijs' perspective
Yeah, yeah.
is all. Nope, he's going to go ahead and go for it. Just says, I don't know what this is doing. Like, I feel like I'm going to win the game this turn.
Oh, no! No! That's when I'd take a screenshot and then post it at Thijs on Twitter.
the third 9 and 10 draws.
Yeah.
Wow, what a game. Honestly, I'm a little bit surprised that Ostkaka was able to even get to that kind of position. And I don't want to call it a mistake, but I think sacrificing the Councilman is a mistake in that spot. Ostkaka clearly struggled to handle the board. He just swiped a Flame Imp. If he leaves the Doomguard at 5-2 and has the Councilman up, how does he kill both of those? You have 2 5-power minions out.
Yeah.
So even in the face of another Ancient of War, or say the Emperor Thorson, you just get to trade the 5-2.
Yeah.
And you have the extra back behind. I don't know. I think I keep the Councilman there personally.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see if Ostkaka can come back. Game 3 is coming up in just a moment. But before we do that, we're going to go to a quick break.
Ladies and gentlemen, everyone, welcome to ESL 1. They're waiting to come back in. They're up in the high ground with Field Lights. Right, and they got it. He's down. Under 6 seconds. Universe in trouble. This could be it.
Welcome back, everybody, to ESL's King of the Hill. About to jump into the third game of our final set of the day. It's the King match, Thijs versus Ostkaka.
Yeah, I mean, what a match it is, too. Thijs just coming fresh off the Warlock win. Just able to pressure Ostkaka every step of the way, who, despite having to swipe on turn 4 versus 1-5 Darkshire Councilman and 3-2 Flame Imp, swipes the Flame Imp, almost stabilizes.
Yeah.
Almost. Not quite
Almost. Weird plays from both sides. But at the end of the day, Ostkaka being one man off the Miracle Yoxeron. It's what we all wanted to see. Didn't happen, and now it's all tied up. So looking at the remaining decks, Ostkaka has Druid, Shaman, Warlock, and Thijs has Hunter, Shaman, Warrior. So a little bit different builds here. Thijs still has his Warrior remaining. Don't know what it is. He brought Patron Warrior last week. And he's got that Hunter, which has always been that wild card in these best of 7 Conquest sets. So we are going to move into Shaman versus Shaman. Everybody's favorite matchup.
Yep. The Abusive Sergeant tells me that Thijs is almost certainly bringing Aggro Shaman.
Yeah.
It just seems to be the favored build right now.
And Lava Burst.
Yeah, well, we saw Ostkaka playing
Oh, yeah, we did see him play Aggro Shaman
in first series. So not a surprise. I'm kind of curious if he's ever eyeing keeping this Flame Tongue Totem. You know, Tunnel Trog can be really weak versus an opening with Totem Golem.
Yeah.
It's something you have to really consider, but Thijs' opening is just so good. I mean, I think he's going to keep all 4 of these.
Yeah. I got an idea for a card. 2 mana. Silence your own minion. 1 overload. Seems good, right?
What's the opposite of Purify? Pollute?
Pollute, yeah. No.
Pollute would be a Warlock card, though.
I don't know, actually. Inhabit?
I don't know.
Infect?
Infect feels more like a Druid thing or a
Possess?
Hunter thing. Possess is definitely Warlock. We got to find the right name for this. This is a tough one. It's going to be Finley for Ostkaka. Oh. Honestly, all 3 of these options are good. Here's the deal. Dagger Mastery is... This matchup is a fight for the board. It's a fight for resources. So if you're the one with the last board threat remaining, that's usually how you win the game. So the Dagger Mastery can give him 2 turns of value for just that mana. Life Tap gives him extra cards, but if he's facing Aggro Shaman, it can cost you a lot in that stage. The Steady Shot doesn't impact the board, but it deals 2 damage to her.
This is probably the hardest decision.
Yeah, all 3 of these are totally reasonable.
Fire Blast would probably be the only one in place of Dagger Mastery that would make it even harder. Because Fire Blast still is usable when you have Doomhammer.
Yep.
So that's really tough.
Wow, goes the Steady Shot. And that's largely, I think, a product of his hand.
Yeah.
Where he's got 2 Tunnel Trucks and the Argent Squire.
Yeah.
If his hand wasn't quite this strong, I would venture to say that Ostkaka would have favored something else.
Yeah.
But he's already going to be facing the Nightmare, which he has no answer to right now. Totem Golem threatens to kill every minion. Oh, and he draws Thring from below afterwards.
Boom. That just happened. Gives up his totem. Doesn't have a totem in his hand. Not even a totem golem.
This is a disaster.
Yeah. Thijs, I can tell you right now, Thijs is heavy favorite.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
looking at these hands.
And honestly, I'd probably put it somewhere in the neighborhood of like 80 to 90% right now.
Yeah.
Like if someone offered me 7.5 to 1 and they took Ostkaka, I would say no.
I don't know what that means, but it sounds really dramatic.
Or I had to take Ostkaka, rather. It would take a lot of odds for me to take Ostkaka to win this game. lot.
Let me put that into layman's terms. If somebody came up to me on the street and said, I'll give you $100 right now if you look at me in the eyes and truthfully tell me that Ostkaka can win this match, I would say no. I'll say I'll keep my dignity.
$100, man. 100 buckaroos.
Yeah, I'd lie.
Smackaroonies.
I'd definitely lie. I'd take that $100 and I'd run. Who am I kidding?
I wouldn't even tell him.
Takes off his mask. It was admirable the whole time. And he was watching that match.
I have a vague idea of where you live.
Jeez. I got dark.
It's like Southern California-ish.
Nope.
Am I wrong?
I literally live in the city that's as Central California as Central California can get.
So I was wrong. I said vague idea.
That's pretty vague, yeah. Earth.
Honestly, Thijs might not play a minion here. Yeah, I think the Rockbiter's fine. At this point, I'd say his concern is making sure that Flame Tongue Totem doesn't swing the board out of control.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Well, that's a big one. Well, that is about the pickup he needed. Oh, if this was Rockbiter, not as good. If it's Flame Tongue,
yeah.
Decent. Abusive Sergeant is perfect here.
Yeah.
Just an extra threat.
But that's a perfect pickup for Thijs. He can Tunnel Trog, Argent Squire, and Rockbiter down the opposing Tunnel Trog. He's got the resources. He's not overloading. He's going into Flame Wreath Faceless.
I dare say if Ostkaka doesn't pick up Flame Wreath here, could be lights out. Ooh, interesting. I love when they sit to the right like that.
Sniper.
Well, he's trading off the tunnel truck here, I'd say.
He's on the roof.
I don't know. I wonder if there's a merit to like pushing face at this point. He's got to fear. No, he's got to fear Flame Wreath, and he's got to fear Feral Spirit here. There's no chance that this is a face push.
Yeah. He's in a bad spot.
I wonder if Thijs, if you actually use the Abusive Sergeant now. Oh, nope. You don't. You giddy up. Like if Thijs drew like a 3-drop there, I could definitely see Abusive Sergeant 3-drop, but oh my gosh. That has to be one of the worst card hands on turn 5 I've seen in a long time.
I mean, maybe there's a world where Thijs overextends.
How's that even possible? He's got 2 Flame Wreath Faceless.
I mean, he can thing from below right now. And then if the Flame Wreath Faceless has to trade into it, maybe. Maybe.
From Ostkaka's perspective, yeah, that's totally fine. Not after this turn it won't be, but prior to that, yeah, it looked like this was a fine plan.
Yeah. Well, not anymore, because I think you're just emptying your hand, protecting that Flame Wreath Faces. 2 7/7s on the board. Nothing.
Yeah, 2 fresh 7/7s.
Is bringing you back from that one.
Nope.
That's game.
I think I know how to fix Priest.
Turn him into Shaman.
All right. Since Priest cards tend to cost 2 more mana than they normally should, a 6 mana 7/7 with Overload 2.
That'd be perfect.
Yeah, Thijs takes a very decisive game number 2. And that Shaman versus Shaman win is a big one. I mean, that's a matchup that I think can oftentimes decide a series. It's just, you know, you're so even every step of the way. Breaking an important mirror match like that one that can snowball so easily one way or the other. And just Thijs was on the fortunate side of this one, opening up with coin Totem Golem.
Yeah.
And Ostkaka did not have an early enough answer, and it just every single turn of the way he was giving up a resource, giving up board position, and then Thijs landed Flame with Faceless. What can you do?
What can you do? Well, Thijs has Hunter and Warrior remaining. So Warrior, it seems like it has decent matchups against all the remaining decks. We're going up Zoo, Shaman, Druid. Warrior seems like it's going to do pretty well against that. And then he's just got Hunter remaining after that, and Hunter will just have to pick up one win against either of those 3 decks. So Thijs seems like he's in a good spot.
Yeah, I definitely say so. I'm curious to see how the Hunter's built. Again, we didn't get to see Killing All Days last series.
Yeah.
And Thijs also chose not to ban his Hunter here. I mean, it's really interesting that 2 players brought Hunter out of these 3. I mean, I don't really see Hunter that much in tournaments.
It's like a 5th deck in a best of 7. But in this case, since you can ban your own class, Thijs probably made the judgment call where he's thinking, I just saw Killing All Day get rolled by bringing Druid and having it not be able to win in like 3 games.
Yeah.
Against Ostkaka's very lineup. And he's thinking, well, if I go ahead and ban out my own Druid, maybe I'm going to have a better time with the Hunter.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I'm really curious to see how it performs. I think it's very likely to struggle versus the Shaman build.
Yeah.
The Warlock one, I could see it struggling there too, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's going to be tough.
Yeah. Well, you can see on the bottom of your screen there, esl.gg/KOTHHS. If you guys want to sign up for King of the Hill yourself, you can head over to that link and go ahead and sign up. There's going to be 8 weeks total, so 6 weeks remaining. There's an open tournament every week, and the winner of that open tournament automatically gets a spot in the following week's King of the Hill. So Killing All Day won the open last week, so he got this spot. And Ostkaka, of course, was the invited player, and Thijs is the returning king. So definitely get out there, sign up. There are a limited amount of signups, so if you don't get in this week, keep trying, keep signing up. Try and get in the following week after that. And I'm going to try and get into one of those too. I'm going to see how it works. What if I win?
Just casting. Did you just up here playing while he's casting?
No, I'll just play on this computer
Glance
right
over
here.
at the broadcast screen. You're like, oh yeah, that's looking like a great lightning bolt right here.
Yeah, the 20-minute delay, like 20 minutes ago.
I should have done that instead.
Made a really big misplay.
Yep.
Then I'm tilted.
It's also a Swiss format too, though, so that's something that's really cool. Like if you want to set aside the time just to play a tournament, you want more experience. In a Swiss format, you can keep playing regardless of your record. So if you're just looking to build that experience, if doesn't matter what your record is, you're in until all the rounds are over.
Yeah. Yeah. Keep in mind, there's also Overwatch later as well.
Oh yeah.
So if you guys like Hearthstone and Overwatch, ESL's King of the Hill does both.
Maybe you just like TJ and I that much.
Maybe you just like me and Admiral. That could be as true as well. But Overwatch will happen later at like 5 p.m. PST.
Yeah.
So a little bit after Hearthstone, a little bit of break there. But it will be Admiral and I bringing you that as well. We're excited. But we should be jumping into the next game here of this final match for Hearthstone. Thijs is up 2-1. Can he close out the series? He's going to throw out the Hunter. And Ostkaka is going to throw out the Shaman once again.
Yeah, nice opening hand from Ostkaka. Does have Ardent Squire in the event that Fiery Bat finds its way to the board, and Coin Horse Rider potentially for Huge Toad or King's Alec. I'm curious if Thijs is one of the players that just likes favoring keeping 2-drops, so that way you have enough stuff to do in the other game, or if he's the kind of player who wants to fish for Animal Companion, Eagle Horn Bow, and try to get a more stable curve.
Yeah. Unleash the Hounds as well is an interesting card because it's a card that is weak in a lot of matchups, but is sort of necessary in this type of format where you're almost always going to be going up against a Zoo Warlock. It is pretty good in Shaman, mostly in mid-range Shaman, but sometimes in aggro Shaman. And just keeps one Huge Toad. He's going to look for the consistency of draw here.
Ostkaka's replacement is not good. So Thijs has brought the more early game centric one. I like this build a lot, and for a couple of reasons. Number one, it helps you fight for the board a lot better.
Yeah.
In these kinds of matchup in particular, it's super important. Number two, it gives you more stuff to do versus some of the control decks, where a lot of times you can suffer just by not putting enough pressure on them. And so this mulligan panned out really well for him.
Yeah.
And Ostkaka's on the other side. I mean, he picks up Flame Juggler. I'm a little bit surprised he chose not to Flame Juggler into the Ardent Squire, but I think there's a couple things working there. The first one is He expects Abusive Sergeant to be in here. The second one is Huge Toad or King's Alex going to trade a lot better versus Flame Juggler than it will versus Argent Horse Rider.
Yeah. He really, there's no way he's thinking about hero power.
Oh, no, absolutely not. He's thinking about whether he should trade. Yeah.
He moused over the hero power for a second.
Ooh. That's a really interesting pickup.
Just want to give a huge shout out to the old school Hearthstone in-game music.
I love it. Boom.
It's just so... Everybody, when they first started playing Hearthstone, got attached to this music.
Juggle a Huge Toad. Very nice. And the only place he doesn't want this to land is at Argent Squire, so...
Beautiful. Well played.
A tiny little smile from Ostkaka going, yeah, something's going my way.
Well, now Thijs has to make the decision of Animal Companion or Abusive Sergeant. Animal Companion, I was going to say, is better almost every time. Leok might have been able to be punished, but he'd still be able to trade into the Argent Squire.
Yep, it's looking like Lava Burst is going to hit this turn.
Yeah.
Horse Rider Bolt's not bad, but I think Lava Burst is a much more narrow card.
Yeah.
Yep, pretty easy turn. So Thijs' opening has been checked. We'll see if he can get through this. Argent Horse Rider's a decent start.
Yeah, maybe he wants to just play the Houndmaster, though. I don't know. You're almost always going to be guaranteed a Houndmaster at some point in the game, and Houndmaster can just win you games late game against Shaman.
The only issue I have with Houndmaster is the way it's lining up versus Lightning Bolt and Rockbiter is really poor.
Yeah.
And that could give Ostkaka a turn to, like, say, play Tunnel Trog and Lightning Bolt.
And like I said, with that high main, you're almost guaranteed a Houndmaster target.
That as well. I mean, this looks to me like Argent Horse Rider. I think the debate here more so is playing Abusive Sergeant a good play here, and
just plopping it on the board,
just to have it there.
Or maybe you just go face Abusive Sergeant, Argent Horse Rider, Abusive Sergeant face.
That's honestly not that bad either. That line actually looks kind of interesting to me.
Don't worry, loves. The cavalry's here.
Because then, you know, you're not going to get really punished. There's no way they're going to get through the Divine Shield and kill it.
Like the play. That spot was really good. And it's just, this is very different than what we've seen from Thijs in his past series, where he's been so very careful with a lot of his resources and making the choice to deliberately trade.
Yeah.
He understands in this matchup with this hand that quite literally the win condition is Savannah Highmane, Houndmaster, and Race.
Yeah.
So needs to start pushing the damage.
And Shamans are almost, aggro Shamans are almost always going to ignore a high main.
Oh, yeah.
So
this might be a deviation of it since Ostkaka has Lightning Storm and Lava Burst.
Yeah.
But suddenly he's in an uncomfortable spot.
Yeah, how much burn does he have in his hand? He's got 6+5. That's 11, 13 with Argent Horse Rider.
Chooses the Totem.
Yikes.
Whoa.
Yikes.
Well, we got a game on our hands, boys.
Yeah. So this will get punished slightly by Lightning Storm. We'll see how Thijs is going to want to trade this.
Well, it could get, I mean, it can also get reverse punished.
Yeah, he could also just, you know,
roll
make
twos.
He could also just make the smart trades here, and I mean, I guess this is like halfway.
That's interesting. I think you. Oh, this is hard. He's just gonna roll Lightning Storm. He doesn't know what he wants to do afterwards. And that's the reason he's Lightning Storming first. Like if one of the minions lives, he's gonna Argent Horse Rider. If none of the minions live, he's gonna Tusker Totemic. Oh my gosh.
Well, that changes everything.
That was very necessary. And the Taunt Totem will help isolate that Savannah Highmane for that much longer. Ostkaka may have found the win here. Oh,
with a Doom Hammer.
And he's at a comfortable life total too. So Thijs needs to pick up some way to start swinging this board back. And I'm thinking even something as small as Argent Horse Rider or Eagle Horn Bow could do it at this point. But I think Call of the Wild may be a necessary draw to win this game for Thijs.
Yeah. What was that pickup? Abusive Sergeant.
That's no help.
Doesn't do anything.
That little taunt totem is doing so much work.
Saving him 8 health.
I think he's got to play the Abusive Sergeant.
Get in there and fight, maggot!
Yeah, he just needs more stuff to contest on the board. Got to hedge against, or hedge for that Call of the Wild draw next turn as
And
well.
if Ostkaka overloads for 3 next turn, he still has 11 from hand. So you're looking at 5 on board, 4 more from the Doomhammer. That'll put Thijs to 14, and then the Doomhammer plus the burn will kill him. So Thijs quite literally needs to draw a taunt next turn.
Yeah.
I wonder.
And I think Totem Up here is better than Totem Golem.
And
Because
I
the lightning bolts.
definitely disagree with you on that one.
Oh, yeah. Okay, sorry. I thought he was only going to be at 4 mana next turn.
Oh, yeah, he'll be at 5.
If he was going to be at 4 mana, then it would have been better because lightning bolt's the same as Totem Golem. I just miscounted.
Yeah, quick shot into kill command, I believe could do it if Ostkaka foregoes the trades. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, that could kill him. Quick shot into kill command if Ostkaka does not trade at all. But if Ostkaka does not trade at all, does he still have... I'm sorry, if he does trade, does he still have lethal next turn? That's the question here.
Would Call of the Wild kill him?
No. It might keep him from dying, though.
That's true. Yeah, Call of the Wild would have been 18 if he had left everything up. What's it going to be?
Nope.
High main.
That's it.
Wow.
What a weird game. Ostkaka choosing to attack for 2 to the face instead of trading gets the perfect Lightning Storm, which honestly, that's what he needed. That Lightning Storm gave him... It was a 25% chance to win, basically, on that spot.
Yeah.
And it's literally exactly what he needed to win.
Yeah. I mean, also that Taunt Totem.
Oh, gosh.
Imagine if that was anything else. Well, besides Totem Golem.
Yeah, Thijs would have put him at 10 that turn.
Yeah. And then those trades would have been different last turn. He
Yep.
probably would have felt like he needed to trade things off the board.
That being said, yeah, I mean, if it's a Flame Tongue, or... I mean, a Flame Tongue is basically a Taunt Totem in that spot,
Yeah.
I think.
I don't know. With an Abusive Sergeant, maybe not.
Maybe not.
Yeah,
He's not dead on board, but he
hope he
definitely
doesn't have
doesn't
the
expect this from hand.
Boom. Boom. All right, well, Ostkaka ties up the series 2-2 with that Shaman win, and Thijs has to be like, how did I lose that game?
This is rough. I mean, the Lightning Storm is what did it.
Very rough.
Also, that extra 2 damage that Ostkaka pushed instead of trading with,
Yeah.
that definitely played a factor in that one. So, pretty high level play I think we're seeing from these two guys. I mean,
Yeah.
the play is so tight. They're looking for any edge that they could get. And Ostkaka decided in that one it had to be Lightning Storm. Lightning Storm had to roll perfectly for me. And then after that, I think I can get this win.
Yeah. You know, he did had some cleanup there after that Lightning Storm if it had not gone perfectly, but that would have meant much less burn in his hand. He would have had to use Lightning Bolts, not develop the Tuskar Totemic that turn, so pretty rough.
Very fortunate.
Yeah, but it's all tied up 2-2. And we're going to get into game number 5, but before we do that, we're going to go to a quick break.
Get your team apparel now at shop.eslgaming.com.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to ESL's King of the Hill. Once again, I'm TJ, joined by That's Admirable. And getting close to the end of the day for Hearthstone, at least. We're about to jump into game number 5 of the best of 7 between Ostkaka and Thijs, and it is all tied up 2-2.
Yep. Druid and Warlock left for Ostkaka. We do know it's Yogg Token Druid and Zoo Warlock. For Thijs, kind of more like a hybrid hunter with the Argent Squires and the Abusive Sergeants in there. I could picture Direwolf also being in there. And Warrior. We've yet to see his Warrior build, and that's, I think, going to be a big factor in this one. If his Warrior happens to be weak to Warlock, That's could be an advantage to Ostkaka if the Warrior happens to be strong against Warlock. That may mean it's a little bit weak to Druid. That's kind of the open-ended one right now. The thing about it is Warrior's just such a powerful class that it definitely has its own game plans that can just dictate the pace and win.
Yeah, Thijs brought Patron Warrior last week. But this week, a little bit something different. It's going to be the Cthulhu Warrior. And this seems like a more classic version, unlike Ostkaka's. We did see Revenge. We also see Shield Slam. That lends us to believe that this is just classic control Cthulhu.
Yeah, pretty decent opening hand for Ostkaka as well. The Innervate is likely to stay, I'd say, because of Violet Teacher. But I'm curious how he ends up choosing to approach this matchup. It's a card that's definitely valuable. And since he doesn't know what Warrior Thijs is playing, I mean, maybe he does. Maybe they practice together for prelims.
Yeah.
Given the lists of the Warriors, I'd probably say not. But, you know, if he knows what Thijs is playing here, the Innervate either becomes very good or kind of mediocre.
Yeah.
If it's like in a matchup like this one, the Innervate's not so good. But if it's Dragon Warrior, the Innervate's almost necessary.
Yeah. All right, so Ostkaka's kept the Innervate, threw in the Raven Idol, though.
Yeah, Raven Idol's also a card that's very poor versus Dragon Warrior.
Yeah.
So I think it's right to pitch it away.
Yeah. I think it's pretty weak against most Warriors. You can get Wild Growth from Raven Idol in the control matchup, but you could also just pitch it away and get a Wild Growth.
Yeah, well,
at like a pretty equal rate.
I think in the control matchups it's really valuable because you can wait and craft with it.
Yeah. Get like a Soul to force against control.
Yeah, you get to evaluate your position is a thing. So sometimes you do cast on turn one, sometimes you don't. I tend to because the Wild Growth is so powerful. And it is, I think it's technically a higher % chance to draw Wild Growth than it is by mulliganing it.
Depends how many you mulligan away.
Yeah, like say you keep Raven Idol and pitch the rest away. I think the Raven Idol still has a higher % chance for that card slot to draw Wild Growth than it does. No, it doesn't matter how many you pitch away.
Some really complicated math.
Yeah. I kind of half did it one day where I was looking at it and I was like, oh yeah, Wild Growth is much better from Raven Idol than just a random chance to draw it.
But then you also have to think about in control matchups, Raven Idol could be something better down the road, where the Wild Growth in your deck is really never going to be anything better than a card that's in your deck.
Yeah, Thijs going to put the pressure on now. I'm sorry, Ostkaka going to put the pressure on now. And can kill this Violet Teacher over 2 turns, but this turn it is living.
Yes, it is. And how do you kill it over 2 turns? What's the best way? Do you Armor Up Shield Slam and then Disciple of Cthulhu next turn? Do you slam it? And then, nope, that's bad. I mean, you could slam it and then slam and Shield Slam next turn. But
can you?
Yeah.
You won't have any armor left.
Well, you could. Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, if he slammed it now, he'd have to also Shield Slam it now. I'm a little bit surprised by this one. This feels really weak to Wrath. And Fandral is really going to make Ostkaka think about this one for a second because I think that trading and coining the Fandral is really good. Looks like he's going to coin Power of the Wild into Hero Power. And I imagine this is buff.
Yeah. I don't want to be weak to Ravaging. And that's a scary board.
He kind of got the word that Ostkaka, I'm sorry, that Thijs didn't, I keep calling him Ostkaka, kind of got the word that Thijs didn't have Execute last turn as well.
Yeah.
So now it's out of range of Fiery War Axe. I mean, this is probably just slam. Oh, slam, welcome to the jam. Oh, Brawl. That could be a saving grace here because it's going to be Fandral. And the Fandral with this particular hand actually doesn't present that much value. But the thing about it is Fandral is terrifying to look at on the other side of the board.
Yeah.
Ostkaka's rolling into turn 5. If he has Nourish and Thijs doesn't kill Fandral, the game almost ends on the spot. Yeah. And so Thijs might just be pushed into brawling here and hoping that Fandral doesn't come out of it.
Yeah.
And the brawl here is pretty bad, honestly, because Thijs he's not killing that much stuff. Yeah. So he's actually just going to risk it, and he's going to get punished.
Trade Wrath Power of the Wild or just Azure Drake?
Honestly, like I think trade with the 2/2s and Azure Drake might just be better.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. You keep the Fandral alive, you make it so that Brawl doesn't punish you.
Yeah, I mean, this is a weird game because honestly, from Ostkaka's perspective, he looks at this and goes, I couldn't kill Violet Teacher, couldn't kill Fandral. Do I really have to do anything?
Yeah. You're still pushing 3 damage.
Yep. Wrath in this matchup is largely meant for digging anyway.
Yeah.
So if that's just stuck in his hand, it's not really too much skin off his back. Azure Drake is a really scary card for Warrior to handle.
Power of the Wild could be used for that next time that you sort of unload on the board.
Yep. I think there's a lot of really different ways this could go. And it looks like it's just going to be that hero power
Waits for no one.
and trade a 3/3. I'm kind of curious that he didn't use the Wrath there. I guess it's just representing so much value on the next turn.
I mean, this is still a lot of power. If you brawl here, no matter what lives, you're still at 17.
He's got to brawl. At this point, he doesn't have an option.
Yeah, and if Fandral lives, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
No.
Oh no.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Slamming that puppy. These Ancient Wars are 10-10s. And now you have 2 high priority kill targets on the board. Still a turn away from Ancient Shield Bearer plus Shield Slam.
I mean, he's just got it to an Emperor and hope.
Yeah. And he's at 13. He's not even at 12.
Interesting to note, if Azure Drake gets played, Wrath will deal 5 damage here. It does not get a point on both effects. It combines it into one effect.
Yeah.
So it's only +1 spell damage. But that's just good enough. Everyone always kills the right one. Do you ever notice this?
Well, because in case he bounces it back, you can't get double value.
Well, that's why you kill the left
Oh, that's why
one.
you kill the left one. Yeah, that's weird.
Everyone always does that.
That's strictly worse.
I don't know if the Emperor or the Fandral is presenting more value for Ostkaka. Usually people tell me to uproot. When I can do both, I'm feeling pretty good. Yeah, he's going to keep that Emperor fresh too.
I don't like playing Ancient of War with Fandral. Takes away my freedom of choice.
Maybe a glimmer of hope there. That's actually a pretty decent draw. Because this turn he can play Ancient Shield Bearer and Shield Slam the 10-10 and then put the 4-6 over the Fandral. Then he has a 4-2 and a 6-6 contesting the Emperor. Thijs might be able to climb back into this. And the Execute gives him the leverage next turn to kill 2 more minions.
Yeah.
It's pretty necessary.
It's actually quite crazy, to be honest. It's actually really fortunate that he was able to get double Cthulhu buffers early on, because if he didn't, that game would have been over.
Ostkaka can play 2 Azure Drakes here, attack the Emperor over,
And then reduce
discount the 2 fresh cards.
Yeah.
Which, of course, Wild Growth on turn 8, that's just like the Ostkaka special.
Yeah. No, that was killing all day last match, wasn't it? Oh, no, it was Ostkaka, yeah. Well, if we go by statistics here, Ostkaka's next card is going to be Yoxeron.
TJ Math.
I mean, it's only science.
So 1 more discount, and then this will be... I mean, I definitely don't want to execute... Ooh, Justicar. We got a game here, boys.
Shield Slam, Armor Up, Justicar? Or do you really want to remove that? Actually, maybe use the Revenge here and the Execute instead of the Shield Slam.
That's kind of what well, I think the Revenge and Shield Slam are both being played if one's played.
What?
And you probably just go ahead and play the... I don't know. It's hard. Maybe you're right. Maybe just Execute, trade, Justicar. Getting the Justicar online is definitely important. But preserving your minion is also important too. So I mean, there's a lot to think about here.
Maybe he thinks if he pushes 6 this turn, he's getting closer to just Cthulhu ending the game, but Cthulhu's only a 10-10 if I remember correctly.
It's going to preserve. It's probably going to spell Cenarius. But we'll see what the draw is. Yeah, that looks like Cenarius to me.
Yeah.
And then probably hold on the Living Roots. I don't really see a reason to play it.
Well, Living Roots, you can Azure Drake next turn. Living Roots for 3 after the 6-5 trades into your 2-2.
Yeah.
So that's a quite obvious use that makes it so you won't want to use that.
So it is going to be Cthulhu, and this mulch, honestly, is going to decide a large portion of this game.
Oh, wow. Didn't kill the 2-2.
Use the 5-4 sticks.
That's actually a really big deal.
That's a very big deal.
Because now that's...
Oh,
you can
my.
steal the...
Oh no. Come on. Oh my gosh. I don't know if it's better though. I really don't.
Both shield slams are gone. One execute's gone.
Yeah, it's got to be better.
But is it though?
It's got to be. I think Ostkaka's going to figure out if he can tank the damage and then try to do it. Which if he's playing Azure Drake and Living Roots, I think he's just mulching the Cthulhu.
Yeah.
So this spot is stealing a 10-10 and sacrificing a 5-4 better. I don't know if it is. I mean, this way nets him a lot of power on board too.
Maybe you need to hold on to that value. Maybe you need to keep the Sylvanas as like your, I fell behind.
Yeah.
You had all the answers. Boom, Sylvanas. Now I can come back.
The second Living Roots is a big deal too because now the Justicar's checked.
Yeah, that's true.
He's really debating it. Yeah, so it is going to be information and hold on to Sylvanas instead. But could you innervate? Just presented with the option again.
Wild growth. Uh-oh. Gotta go.
Yep. He's queuing up what he knows is going to happen. Oh, and a Nixie gets drawn. Wow, these are just such good draws from Ostkaka.
Yeah, he got it all off. The button turned green right at the end.
This is important. This mulch right here can do something. Well, I mean, I can tell you that Ostkaka's not going to think about Leroy from the mulch. That's I mean, you only have so much brain space to use here.
Yeah, but he's not getting in range for Leroy. Doomcaller. Okay. I mean, I think you just got to get it online.
I mean, he has to think about how much return damage it is here. Like, say he looks at Savage Roar. It's 9, 14, 15 points on the Savage Roar attack, so he is safe to play Doomcaller this turn, I'd say.
The symphony of terror begins.
Hopefully, Cthulhu just pops up as his next card.
That's a possibility. I mean, that reality is now a thing.
Yeah. All right, so now we got a tough turn on our hands.
Well, I think it's probably somewhere in the neighborhood of
What?
trade Anixia.
If Raven Idol picks up Savage Roar, that's 9 plus a 6, so that's 15. Hero Power is 16. Living Roots is 19.
It's Raven Idol first then. Yeah, that's a good point.
Also,
That's just, yep. Well, if he thinks that this turn is just strictly stronger,
yeah.
no, it's not a mistake to do it this way. Wait, is he trading? Oh, I was like, I thought he traded for a minute.
Starfire would have been lethal as well.
13. Is there anything Ostkaka could draw for lethal? I'm sorry, Thijs? Not anymore, there's not. But the Leroy in hand right here, this was...
Nah, you needed 4 damage for 5 or less mana.
Yeah, Core Crown Elite?
Nah, it wouldn't be
It's
in
not
this
the build,
deck.
yeah. Arcanite Reaper?
Nah.
I know that Soleil was playing with Arcanite Reaper instead of Gorehowl recently. I think that's game.
Yeah. I mean, he can make
Leroy won't make any more whelps.
He can make some, yeah, he can Leroy now and use it to trade, and use the Doomcaller to trade as well, and then armor up. Like, he's still alive. I mean, there's only 12 damage on the board. He go up to 17.
Yeah, it's about the best he's going to get here.
Yeah.
Well, there's already too many whelps.
It's kind of funny. They're the same
to handle
whelps,
it.
too.
The Raven Idol can produce some lethals here.
Starfire, Savage Roar, Swipe.
Starfire would definitely, yeah, any 4-point damage.
Yeah. Just needs 4.
Oh, no, he needs 5, sorry.
Well, Hero Power?
13. Oh, yeah, you're right. He needs 4. Okay. I didn't get the hero power.
Ah! Or another Raven Idol. Ah, he got that instantly. Wisp was the old guys. That does it as well. And Ostkaka, with his Druid, is going to take a 3-2 lead in the series.
Yep, Warrior and Hunter still remaining for Thijs at this point. And honestly, the Hunter does look a lot more suited to handle Zoo than, say, like a traditional mid-range Hunter. We saw Art Squire, we saw Abusive Sergeant, we saw Unleash the Hounds in there. It's a lot more early game action, so that's a matchup that I'm not fearing as much for him anymore. And this Warrior build it's pretty darn close to getting the job done. I mean, we're looking at Revenge, Brawl, and Ravaging Ghoul are going to be in there. So that one could be a tough battle for Ostkaka. And his Warlock is now 1-3 at this point.
Yeah.
So I would definitely consider this the weak spot. So honestly, despite the fact that Ostkaka's up a game, I still think it's very close.
Yeah. The Cthulhu Warrior, that I always struggle with its matchup against Zoo, because sometimes it does great, but it does lack the extra removal that you need, that Classic Control has.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have the bashes, you don't have like the extra weapons sometimes that you need.
It's a different approach overall. So
you want to like tempo out and use your own minions and removal to back it up instead of just remove everything on the board as fast as possible.
Yeah, instead, well, a lot of times what it comes down to is just taking extra damage and getting massive value from Brawl and Revenge.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of where this particular Cthulhu Warrior is suited, is having Revenge to clean up board positions and then tempo that you wouldn't normally have.
Yeah.
To be able to wipe everything and then proactively answer the next threat.
Yeah.
So that's where a good spot where Thijs is going to find a lot of that win rate. And so here we go. Warlock versus Cthulhu Druid. Ostkaka 1 game away from usurping the throne.
Being the king. King Cheesecake! Bow down! I thought I was the king of cheesecake.
Nonsense, bring me a pie. Can you imagine like King Cheesecake asking for a pie?
Isn't a cheesecake
Like,
just a
you've
pie,
mastered
though?
the art.
Let's be real here.
No, it's a cake.
It's a pie.
It's definitely a cake.
Does it have a crust?
Most of the time, I hate when cheesecake has that weird crust on the bottom.
Cheesecake always has a crust.
It has a crust. I hate when it has like the weird crumbly crust.
It always has a pie crust.
Does it though?
Yeah. I'll get back to you on that one. The definition of a pie. What is the definition of a pie? No one will know.
I hope it just says like a cake-like.
What's the definition of a pie? A cake with a crust. That's not it.
Fairly weak opening hands for both players. Ostkaka does not have any gas rolling right now. Picks up Sea Giant early. Thijs does have a copy of Ravaging Ghoul, but he's also got Cthulhu Doomcaller and 2 shield blocks in his hand.
Yeah.
So this is sort of like a battle of the bad hands, which these are some of my favorite games, is when both players draw really bad.
Yeah. Well, I think in this matchup, when both players draw really bad, it's in favor of the Warrior.
You think so?
Yeah, because if you give him more time.
I don't know. I'm curious.
Well, this will be a test.
And not of the emergency broadcast system.
Thank God. Imp King Boss is
Not
very
yelling,
tough
dude.
to deal with.
Relax. Not yelling at Gang Boss for once.
Me neither.
Those are that's stuff to do at least. Yep, so Dark Peddler for sure. I don't know. Maybe he wants to wait on the Dark Peddler. Maybe it's just Direwolf Alpha.
Direwolf Alpha Voidwalker doesn't know what he wants yet.
I think Dark Peddler's better because going into turn 4, this is like where you're going to see Thijs play Cthulhu's Chosen.
Yeah.
I would just set up and play off the Dark Peddler as though he were playing Cthulhu's Chosen, I think.
Yeah. Try and pick up like a Argent Squire to pop that bubble.
Wow.
But this is,
Wants
I
the
guess,
damage.
this is more consistent, I suppose. And it also tries to bait out an off-curve play with Disciple of Cthulhu, potentially.
Those Ravaging Ghouls are looking mighty weak right now.
But those are going to be mighty strong as this game goes on.
Yeah.
Just having those makes you feel so much more comfortable as a warrior. Because it's such a flexible card.
This honestly might be one of the most critical turns of the game right here. If Ostkaka can find a way to check this very well or push a lot of damage, which now that he's drawn the second power overwhelming, I imagine is just Dark Iron Dwarf. I mean, he's building towards Sea Giant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is Dark Iron Dwarf all day.
Are you worried about Brawl?
Probably not. We have 2 really strong keeps from the Brawl,
And
Thijs has to have it.
this is going to be one of those turns where it's the least likely. Exactly on turn 5.
I mean, it's the earliest that you can kind of force Thijs into a Brawl, so this is probably just the turn you go for it.
And your other plays play more into Brawl.
Wow. I'm surprised by that.
Wonder what it is. Elven Archer, Stone Test Boar.
You know, something else that could be happening too is Ostkaka's looking at this hand and wondering when he's going to get to use these power overwhelmings. And so as a result, maybe thinks he needs to start life tapping.
Yeah. Or start finding weaker minions to where power overwhelming is going to be easier to use. Oh wow, corruption. Interesting.
I'm surprised he took corruption and didn't use corruption this turn.
Well, I mean, I guess he realized he was going to trade in Dark Peddler next turn.
I mean, is he trading? I don't think he is. I mean, maybe he trades a Dark Peddler just...
It's a 4-2.
It depends on what Tyson's doing this turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't want his M-Gang boss to just die outright. I could see that.
Yeah. Disciple with an armor up.
Cthulhu! 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 It was your fault.
I mean, Ostkaka's really going to have to put pressure on fast.
It's kind of a card that can do it. I think he's got to play more towards the curve here, though. Yep. Now, this makes sense because if you play the Dark Iron Dwarf and the Flame Imp, you end up giving up the Flame Imp to the 2-1 unless you choose to trade. Which, if you're playing the Dark Iron Dwarf, you lose the 2 damage on it. So this just represents more damage on board this way. Wow, that's an interesting draw. I mean, at 29, it's the board tension here just means a lot.
I have no time.
Yep, I like this play.
Come on and slam.
And now Ostkaka's really got to worry about Brawl. I don't know if he can actually play around it, though.
Yeah, I think at this point you just got to say, if he has Brawl, he has it. I lose the game. At this point, I haven't put enough pressure on. It's too late in the game for me to start trading. He's going to win in the long run.
The other thing that's important to note here, too, is that the Brawl, I think, is a little bit strengthened in this from the perception of range. Because Thijs has, for most part, been playing from the right side. Like, almost the card he's drawn for the turn has kind of been where he's been heading with the plays. So Ostkaka sees that, and he's got to wonder, like, what these 3 cards on the left side are at this point.
Yeah.
I think it's very likely that they're Brawl, especially when Thijs plays the Sylvanas so quickly.
Yeah. Well, Knife Juggler and Sea Giant. Oh, wow. Oh no, he stole the Darkshire Councilman! I mean, that has to be just game. He just lost so much. He lost both his Power Overwhelmings, his Imp King boss, and his Darkshire Councilman.
Yeah.
That's Sylvanas 4 for 1.
Not only that, but it cut the burst damage too. And that's like one of the biggest things, I think, for Thijs is cutting the burst damage. And he draws Fire War X. Fire War X, the Flame Imp, Shield Block, Shield Slam. That should be game.
Yeah, I don't see a way.
I guess Doomguards can always do it.
I don't even think so. I mean, he's at almost...
Well, he doesn't have the
30
way to check
lives
the
still.
Doom cards now. So, I mean, if Ostkaka just draws Doom Guards back to back, that's definitely a way to win. Whoa.
Hello. But he gives up Sea Giant.
Man, that's not a win condition right now. He's never going to get that on board.
I mean, maybe he taps first and tries and keeps the Sea Giant.
No way. Knife Juggler.
Knife Juggler just eats the Fire War Axe.
That deals 5 damage then. Or, yeah, 3 damage then. That's totally fine.
I wonder.
Wow. He sees the Knife Juggler or the Sea... If he sees something here, it's more value. Well, those are not the 2 we want to discard, I can tell you that. Honestly, Thijs might just play Doom Color here.
I think Doomcar is great here.
You know,
Stuck in my head. Oh my god.
You know why he tapped here? I think it's quite literally because of Doomguard. Like, not only does he need to dig to Doomguards, but he probably also needed to keep the Knife Juggler.
Yeah.
That's a really interesting point. Is it Sea Giant? Yep. Well, to the face. This might be Brawl. Might not be Brawl. That's pretty solid.
Yeah.
I wonder if he can actually push face here. So if he attacks 7 to face, puts Ostkaka to 16, Fiery War Axe's face to 13, and plays Ancient Shieldbearer, he's at 22 facing 14. He knows both power overwhelmings are gone.
I mean, I still think you trade. I mean, why take the risk? Defender of Argus punishes you pretty heavily.
Yeah, that's true. So in that case, it's just Doomguard into the Doomguard. Fiery War Axe on the 2-1 and Ancient Shieldbearer.
Yeah, sounds reasonable.
Then roll into Cthulhu. Yeah, this looks better. Leaving a 7-3 around, or 7-4 around, is pretty annoying.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's a 12-point Cthulhu. There's also that. Flame's about the worst. And as much as Ostkaka could potentially get back in the game with something like that, Thijs has everything in his hand
Yeah.
to check this board state. We're going to game number 7.
That's what it seems like. Is that a new animation on Corruption? Has its skull always been there?
How many times have I seen the corruption animation?
Oh my goodness.
Well, Doomcaller trade in. Attack 6 face. Ravaging Gold Twin Emperor. GG. That's when Ostkaka draws Deathwing.
Or double Ravaging Ghoul, trade in the 6/6 to the Sea Giant, go face, armor up.
And then die to Leroy Power Overwhelming Power Overwhelming Soulfire. That can't happen. Both Power Overwhelmings are gone. Touché. I want like an obnoxiously large neutral charge. I want like a 10 mana,
Like a Reckless Rocketeer.
like a 10 mana, 10 power charge.
Okay, so what would be reasonable? It'd have to be like 10 mana, 7 power.
No, I think 10 mana, 10 power neutral charge is fine. Just 10-1.
That'd be disrespectful to Ice Howl.
Thijs is gonna win this 6th game, and so Hunter versus Warlock will be our final game that's coming up. Thijs is on that Hunter. It's more of a hybrid version with Ardent Squires and Abusive Sergeants, and Ostkaka continues to struggle with Zoo Warlock. He's now 1-4 with Zoo Warlock in today's matches.
Yeah, and I mean, traditionally this matchup is pretty good, but Hunter has these tools. It's more of a hybrid Hunter. It's got more early game. It's got the Abusive Sergeants. It's got the Ardent Squires. So, you know, it might be able to defend against that early game from Zoo. So we'll definitely have to see. Game 7 is going to come up in just a minute. Before we do that, we are going to have to go to a quick break.
It's the desire for greatness that drives us. It demands persistence. An existence dedicated to a single goal. The willingness to sacrifice what you have for what you will become.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to ESL's King of the Hill. We only have one game left for Hearthstone today. Game number 7 of Ostkaka versus Thijs. Winner of this next game will take the throne. They'll be the King of the Hill, and they'll go with $500.
Yeah, those 500 smackaroonies and the opportunity to continue to win that.
Yeah.
Over and over. Thijs historically has done very well in series like this.
Yeah.
At one point, I believe he had 9 straight wins. I think it was in 2014, like one of the earliest Hearthstone series that was running. And wasn't a surprise to actually see him win the first one. And today, he's crawled back in this series now. Hunter versus Warlock. I'm going to say that Ostkaka's slightly favored here.
Yeah.
But again, the performance with it so far today, he's 1-4 with it.
Yeah.
And it looks to me like the deck's just not performing. Not necessarily that he's not making the right decisions. It's just not looking very good.
Yeah, it's just he's not getting the draws that he needs with it, and just not getting. It's not doing work. It's not doing work at all. But you talked about Thijs winning that King of the Hill, and he did it because he could participate in open tournaments. And admirable. All the people at home can participate and have a chance to play in the King of the Hill as well. If you want to sign up, you can head over to esl.gg/KOTHHS. We'll be doing 6 more weeks at King of the Hill, and there'll be an open every week. And that open, the winner qualifies for the following week's King of the Hill. So killing all day, we saw. He won last week's open, so he got a chance today. Unfortunately, wasn't able to defeat Ostkaka, but put up a great performance. And you guys at home can have a chance as well. So there are limited spots available, so make sure you get in there and sign up ASAP. But if you get in, do it for me. Do it for me.
Plus, it's a Swiss format, which Swiss is so much better, I think, than the typical elimination bracket. If you just want more tournament experience, this is a great one to compete in because you can set aside the time that you expect to play and just play round after round. Your record won't knock you out of the tournament. You get to play until all the rounds are competed.
Yeah.
Your soul.
All right, well, game number 7. Here we go. It's Thijs' Hunter versus Ostkaka's Zoo Warlock.
Wow, these are some good opening hands.
Oh, yeah. And you talked about it last game. You love watching games where both players have bad hands. What about when both players have good hands?
I also like watching those. I think I just like watching Hearthstone.
Yeah, it's like,
I like it when one player is like a complete blowout victory.
Yeah.
I like when
I don't like it when one player has a slightly better hand than the other player.
it's just like
Because then you know they're going to win, but it takes a long time. You're like, oh, God. But this is Hearthstone.
it's all about nuance.
Precision.
Whoa!
That's Hearthstone.
Do you remember when you and I sang the opening of that grand tournament thing?
Yeah, nobody even knew.
That's a good sign as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Means we're so close.
No one can even
The
tell the
original.
difference between professional singers and TJ Asimo Cutie Sanders and Nathan That's Admirable Zamora.
What if we are professional singers?
Think about it.
That's what we do on the side.
Fiery Bat open for Thijs. He's got Huge Toad Flame Juggler to follow it up, and Ostkaka. This is one of those games where I feel like he's going to end up coining this Imp Gang boss on turn 2. So to me, that spells out Ardent Squire or Possessed Villager. Never Flame Imp into this Fiery Bat.
Yeah. Or maybe he just goes 1-drop, 1-drop, into 1-drop, 1-drop into Imp Gang boss.
That's a possibility as well.
So many possibilities.
Imp Gang boss is so strong, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Ardent Squire or Possessed Villager will both live half the time through this Fiery Bat, and
Well-
then the Imp Gang boss presents just a huge threat.
Possessed Villager will live 100% of the time because the Fire Bat's Death Rattle will go
Rattles.
off.
That's actually really
Yeah.
interesting. I'm glad that you pointed it out because that's something I just missed. Death Rattles trigger in the order they enter the play. So
Yeah.
Fiery Bat will happen first, Possessed Villager will then spawn.
That's assuming there's a trade, but Flame Juggler might put a wrench in that plan.
So Thijs right now, the struggle is figuring out the win condition. Is it going to be pushing or is it going to be constricting the board?
Yeah.
That's a hard decision to make on turn 2 when the only information you have is that Thijs played a Possessed Villager and didn't coin another 1-drop.
Yeah.
And if he plays this Huge Toad, I'm guessing damage is what he's favoring.
Yeah.
Thijs' turn 3 is a little bit weaker than normal, it looks like. So this is kind of the window of opportunity for Ostkaka. I have to believe it's going to be Imp Gang boss.
They can follow that up with triple 1-drop on turn 3.
Yep. Wow. Interesting.
Huh. Maybe he's worried about giving Thijs too good of trades here.
Well, something to think about is if he ended up playing the Imp Gang boss here and Thijs rolled Leok or Misha,
Yeah.
that's pretty weak to it. So the Huge Toad, I think, maybe swaying the decision to coin.
Yeah.
Simply because of the presence of Leok.
Yeah. I just want to point out here the positioning from Ostkaka. Divine Shields as the bookends.
Yep.
This is what you want. It makes it so Direwolf Alpha becomes a much better draw because you don't want the Divine Shields from the Ardent Squires in the way of being able to trade up with with that Direwolf Alpha.
Yep. Just more tough turns. He uses Abusive Sergeant, kind of just sending it out to die to a Divine Shield.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is just a trade, and then maybe try and Flame Juggler to clean up a little bit.
Well, that deviates the plan from what we just saw last turn, so...
Ooh!
Wow.
That is unfortunate.
That aside, I don't really understand the attack because of the way this deviates. Like last turn, we saw him just push and play the Huge Toad instead of the Flame Juggler.
Yeah.
So to me, that would spell the favor of pushing more damage.
Yeah.
And had he just abused Sergeant and pushed this turn, Ostkaka would have been at 19, and he'd have a 3-2 and a 2-1 here. So the 2-1 sure would be eaten, 3-2 sure would get eaten, but he's not taking damage to face, he's pushing more damage. In this spot, he's kind of just keeping the board exactly where it is. The fact that Ostkaka has minions left over no matter what means he can't play around the buffs that are going to enhance the board anyway. And so if that's the case, I think that pushing is just better.
Yeah.
And Ostkaka kind of got the information that Animal Companion was not present last turn.
But Unleash the Hounds is a pretty fantastic draw, I'd say.
Well, this is looking good for Ostkaka. It's looking very good. Thijs is running out of resources. Secret Keeper's not that bad. I don't like the Abusive Sergeant this turn.
Get in there and fight!
Looks like he wants to trade.
Yep. He's putting a lot of stuff. I mean, this makes Unleash the Hounds a lot better. The thing about it, what's influencing Ostkaka's decision the most here, I think, is the number of cards in Thijs' hand.
Yeah.
At this point, he knows Unleash the Hounds is going to be pretty devastating against him.
Yeah.
But the thing is that Thijs pretty much has to have it in these 3 cards. This also, the Unleash the Hounds also would have favored the damage push as well.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, I'm curious if you ever quick shot this turn. I don't think you do. It looks like you trade in one of the 1/1s Unleash the Hounds, and then figure out where you're going afterwards, and then almost certainly Huge Toad to try to get to that quick shot value.
yeah. I think the quick shot value is going to be pretty paramount.
My other question is, can Thijs just attack face with the Unleash the Hound tokens? Like, he's winning the race.
I mean, I
at
think
this
so.
stage.
Yeah. Maybe kill off the 1 health minions, or at least the Abusive Sergeant. Oh, no.
like it.
I really don't like that.
Well, Ostkaka now knows that there's a quick shot in hand.
Yeah.
So
Or on the hunt.
all right, so the rest are going to push. I do agree with some of the trading. Yep. Oh my. That is a great draw for Ostkaka. Oh my. Oh, TJ. This is bad. This is really bad.
Yeah.
I think the attack first is actually better because that's the juggle you control the least right now.
Yeah. I mean, Thijs is going to have to draw like Burn. He's got the health lead by a lot, but 17 is a lot to get through with only 1 card in hand.
Especially when that card is Huge Toad.
Yeah. I mean, his Huge Toad's...
I'm really surprised
I'd like
by
to
the
go
quick
face
shot
this
last
game.
turn instead of Huge Toad.
Yeah. You're wasting 1 damage to the quick shot. You're wasting the potential value of the quick shot as well.
Why do you...
Maybe he's not trading. I don't understand that. Maybe I guess if you're just going to trade on the whole board anyway, or if you just know you're going to hit the jump.
Yeah.
All right, so here we go. 17 and 27
Is that a
versus...
deadly shot. Oh, man.
Well, good luck. Hey! Hey, not too bad. Deadly shot.
That's it. That's pretty bad.
Oh my gosh, TJ, that is a huge draw.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, just face, trade off, possess villager.
why not just face?
Because that taunt is representing a lot right now is why.
I suppose. I Maybe he wants to Doom Possess Village or Doomguard first? No.
No. It's actually better for Thijs, I think, because now Unleash the Hounds looks a little bit stronger.
Yeah. Probably has second Unleash the Hounds, just judging by the way this deck is built. It's built to not lose control of the board as often, I suppose. And Thijs is a very good. That's another deadly shot. Oh, it's a Call of the Wild.
No. That's bad. He just does nothing this turn. And the Voidwalker's standing in the way of the Huffer right now. And Defender of Argus gets drawn. That's it. That's over.
Somebody call it. Put him out of his misery.
Stop! Stop! He's already dead.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, it seems as though Thijs's run as King of the Hill will be stopped short at just
Ostkaka
one.
does have to think about Unleash the Hounds into Kill Command, but he has Defender of Argus. So
Yeah.
the Dark Iron Dwarf gets relegated.
Yeah. So he's going to buff up just his strongest minions, put him on a one-turn clock. Even with Call of the Wild, that's still going to be game with Dark Iron Dwarf in his hand. What does he need? Hound Master's not going to do it. It's Call of the Wild trade is his only option, and that means he's dead.
Well fought.
Thijs
Here we go,
concedes.
and a smile from Ostkaka at the very end. Breathes a sigh of relief. The new king. Man, 2-0 versus Thijs in some pretty solid matches. I mean, a lot of high-level stuff was going on in this. We saw some plays that were a little bit offbeat.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of it has to do with respect for their opponent. Like, they feel like they're getting set up with something at every single stage. And so they're trying to play around a little bit more than I think they would against, say, like a traditional ladder player.
Yeah. Yeah, but, I mean, that was a really impressive day from Ostkaka, bringing out that pretty interesting Cthulhu Warrior, went 2-0 on the day. The full cycle, you know, sort of OTK package with that removal, but then just Cthulhu instead of Worgen plus all those buffers. So
that deck looked incredibly strong.
It's consistent, I think, is a big deal there with all that cycle. So Ostkaka's going to be the new king. He's going to away with $500, and he'll be coming back next week to defend that title. So really impressive stuff from him.
Yeah, I mean, I really couldn't expected much more from Ostkaka in this one. I mean, current world champion. This year he's been a little bit quiet.
Yeah.
But, you know, after you win a world championship, maybe you just kind of peaked at that point. You're just like, just doing what I want to do. I'd relax a little bit too if I had won that 100G.
Yeah, yeah, really fun stuff. Really fun stuff. So, killing all day. He had a good performance as well.
Yep.
But Ostkaka has become the king. And Thijs, maybe he'll get another chance. Maybe he can play in the Opens and try and work his way through.
I would expect him to.
Yeah, but keep in mind, guys, we mentioned it right before that game, but you can sign up as well for the next King of the Hill. You have to compete in the Open first, esl.gg/KOTHHS. Get in there and sign up. I mean, if you think you have what it takes to beat Ostkaka, then by all means, show us.
Yeah. Or even if you think that you can just get a little bit lucky and beat Ostkaka, by all means, show us.
Show us. Yeah. But Admirable, that's going to do it for Hearthstone for us today.
Yep.
But we will be returning with Overwatch, so make sure you guys tune in at 5 p.m. PST. There's some crazy stuff that's been happening. You know, TSM no longer. It's now Complexity. Really excited to see them play. We have Liquid later, Selfless. Really great stuff.
It's even a former Hearthstone professional
Yeah.
who will be competing with his team.
George Hype Magazzini will be later. So if you want to see a former Hearthstone professional compete at Overwatch, tune in later. But that's going to be at 5 p.m. PST. Join us there for Overwatch. But from now, we're done with Hearthstone. It's for myself, and that's Admirable from the entire broadcast crew here at ESL. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later.